so I'm not. Oh, look at this. We have. Look, I'll put up the picks overlay that we didn't know existed. So we're in the picking stage now. We run through some of the players. The last player I didn't get was way too sexy on the Dire side, so he's going to be joining up with TC. Um, Lampo, Duck Hunt, Supercell, any of these ring bells for you? Of course, you've been casting more NEL than I have.
Lampo and Duck Hunt are from actually they've been around for a while in IXDLI at least. They were around. They were actually some top tier players there. Supercell, Duck Hunt, Lampo, I think all were up there. I've seen Lampo play once in the league, I believe, in the NEL. Duck Hunt I haven't seen recently, but he was up there. I think he might have been in the IXDLI playoffs the first time around. Um, Other than that, Flying Zebra, I believe was in the previous game. I don't remember what hero he played. Um, Unless he's like an AKA for somebody, but I don't think that's the case. So I don't know.
Okay, that's good enough for me. We could see these
Okay.
bans. Abaddon gets banned out because this hero is. I don't even know.
Broken.
I haven't seen
Broke.
someone play it amazingly yet, but it's a good hero. We see Visage banned out because, thank God. Uh, OD as well as Batrider taken out. Pretty standard on that half. Weaver out now as well. We got the purple team going for the dire side, Darkseer and Bane, and Nagasiren and Rubik up for the Radium right now. So very standard across the board. Nothing too exciting or stand out. We do notice that Lifesteal is still in the pool. He's probably going to make it through, or has an opportunity at the very least after this ban to make it through. Picking a Lifesteal into a Bane, it's meh, but he's still a legit hero, so you can justify it. You have to use a Fiend's Grip, which is a pretty decent cooldown to just try and stop him, so he's going to be a live option. We'll have Alchemist in the mix as well, but a Shadow Fiend, a Swagger Fiend early on here, that's what I like to see. Shadow Fiend's an exciting hero.
Yeah, he definitely is, and I think it's kind of awesome to see him get picked up this early on in the draft, just because they're kind of like, okay, this is what we're doing with this hero. You know, you guys can deal with it however you want, but we're playing a damn Shadow Fiend. We're gonna get raises. We're gonna get last hits. So it's nice to see that. And also, what's important to note for me at least is that I don't know if people in the NEL have like some sort of backhand agreement where they're like shaking hands behind like under the table and saying like, all right, no IO. We're not doing IO ever again. Because I've seen multiple times him get through the entire draft and no one's picked him up or banned him. So I guess people are just like, if you pick IO, you're gonna get like stabbed or something. I don't know. Is this like, are we in prison? Who knows?
I don't know, but IO is like that hero that you cannot like. You can get some wins, but you're never gonna build up your personal stats, and that's what IXCL is all about. Like, just personal, I don't know, bragging rights and stuff. So you don't want to be that
You don't
little
want to be that guy.
tag on support wingman for life kind of situation that it puts you in. You see Gyrocopter picked up here. Gyrocopter and Nagasiren has always been a natural 1-2 combo. If Ruber can steal off like a Requiem of Souls, they're going to have AoE that will absolutely destroy. Or even a Vacuum. That's probably a lot easier. Elder Titan gets picked.
Well,
This is a hero I love to see.
it's a good hero.
I haven't seen
It's a very
anyone
good
play
hero.
him too well yet, aside from Bulba once when
Bulba.
we did the NEL. But I'm not sure his competition was up to par that game.
Listen, man, I've got news for you. Every game I've seen Elder Titan picked, Bulba's been in it, and I've seen like four Elder Titan games. Always goes mid, and I'm like looking with this Elder Titan pickup right now. I'm like, Bulba's not here. Who's playing this hero? So we'll see how they can deal with it. The cool thing is, pretty much every time Bulba's played it, he's gone for the same build, which is four into Astral Spirit, three into Natural Order, and then he proceeds to get his other abilities, including Zerg Splitter as well as his Echo Stomp. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's a really good hero. I think Astral Spirit's I mean, like it does 120 damage at its first level, which is a ridiculous nuke against squishy mid heroes. I don't think they'll put him mid in this scenario. They certainly can, but I'm not sure. And then the Alchemist pickup as well from the Radiant. So they've got a lot of options in terms of farming, in terms of where they want to go. This could be a mid Alchemist potentially. I'm not 100% sure, however. In the meantime, we'll see a Nature's Prophet band, another band coming out. But yeah, I like the lineups for both sides right now.
Oh, there's the Spear Breaker ban. Interesting choice here. I think it's a decent, but not actually decent option. Jakiro gets picked up, so there's the team fight for the dire side. TC's team, once again, are absolutely stacked on team fight potential. Vacuum into Requiem into Elder Titan Sleep or Ultimate, and Jakiro's Ice Path rounds that out. So they're set for the mid game, but there's a lot of team fight potential on the Radiant too, so it's not as if either team is going to be able to just five-man it up and roll phase through. It's going to come heavily down to these lanes. And Elder Titan's one of those heroes you were just talking about how Bull was really good on him. He's an awkward hero to lane at times, and if you have to put a middle against an Alchemist, which very well could be a lane, I don't see that being that easy. It could be Shadow Fiend versus Alchemist middle, which isn't that great either. Who knows
Mhm.
where Gyrocopter's going to end up? Uh, I think, you know, one of the things we've seen a little bit more lately is giving that babysit to Shadow Fiend early on if you're going to put a middle lane. Give them level 3. I think that's a really good strategy. It's something Rattlesnake had been doing for a long time. Unfortunately, they would just throw after 10 minutes, so it wasn't really ever noticed or recognized for being brilliant. But that could be a plan here to get them rolling against somebody. Bounty Hunter last pick for the Radiant side. So they round out their 5-man squad with an aggressive off laner. They have a tri
Right.
lane that, I mean, whoever they put in it, it's going to hurt.
Mhm.
And it's going to be really effective early. There's some good defensive potential. I think tri lane versus tri lane, once again, is going to be a hot spot. It's going to be an exciting matchup.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. When it comes down to who's going to win, I think in terms of the early game, right now you have a couple of heroes that do okay in the early game on the Dire, but I think the big deal is that Darkseer and Elder Titan all require levels. Shadow Fiend requires farm and levels to get some damage going as well. Whereas you can fight pretty early on with Universe on that Alchemist, with a Gyrocopter just because of flat cannon. Like as soon as level 6 even, you could start fighting pretty effectively with Call Down. And as well as the fact that they have a Bounty Hunter who's got track. So I think that if team fighting is the name of the game, that maybe the Radiant take this a little bit earlier on. However, with that being said, you still have some decent amount of damage on the Dire. It really is going to come down to what they're going to do in terms of lanes right now, and it does seem like you are absolutely right. It is going to be an aggressive tri lane. But with that being said, why don't we get into the introductions, John?
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the Dire first. We'll go ahead and this is TC's team. We see he'll be playing the Shadow Fiend. We have Supercell playing Elder Titan, Duck Hunt on Jakiro, Bane being played by Lampo, and that leaves Way Too Sexy on the Darkseer, who's going to solo up top. So we'll be Trilane versus Trilane in all likelihood. IX
Mm.
Mike versus Way Too Sexy. It's a pretty good matchup for the Darkseer, I'd say.
Yeah, Icer takes that advantage 9 times out of 10. I think that Iron Shield is just a really, really good ability for that fact, and you can keep spamming it essentially. And IX Mike, I think he actually really enjoys playing Bounty Hunter. He's pretty good at it as well, but it's going to be tough. But with that being said, on the Radiant side here, we've got Mason. He's up on the Gyrocopter. I'm going to go through the colors again. We'll see Genocide run on the Naga Siren, probably supporting, I'd imagine. Rubik's going to be played by Flying Zebra. IX Mike up at that top lane, playing the Bounty Hunter, and to round it all out, we will see Universe on the Alchemist. So it's actually going to be a mid Gyrocopter, which is we weren't actually thinking that. We were thinking maybe Universe goes mid on that Alchemist, but he's going to actually be down here in this tri lane, and that could be even more effective with the unstable concoction. They can fight early on. They'll know that this is an aggressive tri lane now, as they are spouting out Lampo, who's taking some damage here.
Oh, he didn't bring out the high ground. I thought that was definitely a possibility. They're going to try and fight him anyway. They get the early net, which is a little bit surprising because the damage output from Riptide would have been much more significant than the actual, 2-second disable. So I don't know if they would have killed him either way. If they threw him onto high ground, there was a possibility, but they didn't even attempt it. High ground throws are a little bit risky now because they don't always pan out, whereas at one point they were the easiest thing in Dota. But bottom lane, that's a good start for the Radiant. They just put some free damage on the Bane, forced him to go through some of his regen sooner or later. And Bane actually opts to start with Brain Sap this game. We saw the Enfeeble build last game, which worked out pretty well for the Dire, but he decides to take a different attempt. And we'll see how that goes. It's a little bit more damage, but, having the Nightmare just to slow down Pursuit, which is very possible when you have 3 disables, it could be nice early if you don't get the levels.
Right, I agree with you. It's kind of surprising what Brain Sap, but still not the worst thing in the world. And the fact that they have that nuke damage is good. I want to note that top lane, IX Mike actually went boots first after he's getting dove right now by Way Too Sexy. But yeah, he went boots first, and he got those pretty quickly, if not, pretty much at the start of the game. So that gives him a little bit more maneuverability against the Darkseer, who can chase after him with, of course, the Surge. And you can see already that Iron Shell doing a lot of damage. Talking about bottom lane and why Genocide run went net, I think he was trying to get a net so that Universe could get there in time to throw up an unstable concoction. It just didn't pan out. But then Universe decided to skill Acid Spray level 1 anyways, which is going to be pretty good up against this lane with the armor reduction. It allows him to last hit it pretty effectively. But now he should be going unstable concoction for the most part here, as we see a pretty even lane down to the bottom lane right now.
Yeah, Elder Titan carry. Elder Titan can really thrive in a tri lane because, of course, the damage buff from Astral Spirit. The only problem is they only have one real slow. He's not going to be able to attack through Nightmare, of course, so it's going to be the dual breath that allows him to get his auto attack damage off, and if an Ice Path hits, that's nice as well. But against the 3 disables, I don't really know how much that auto attack damage is going to be beneficial. Way Too Sexy in top lane is diving once again. He has a surge up, But Mike should be just fine as he's going to go ahead and use that boot speed, as you mentioned before. He picked those up early here to just make his way out of there. Mason's going to find an Invis Rune in the middle river. Come back to this mid lane. We're looking at 13 and 9 for this Shadow Fiend early on here. He's plus 29, so 13 souls. And Mason's only 6 and 0, so he's actually getting beat pretty hard by TC in this mid lane.
Yeah, and I think the reason why is because TC, with those raises, he's got that range, just massive magic damage. In order to be effective with the Gyrocopter, to get close with that Rocket Barrage, you got to be right up next to him, and that's tough to do when you're up against a Shadow Fiend who can just raise you and just throw some right clicks as well. Flat Cannon, once it gets leveled up more and he gets more damage, he'll probably turn this lane around just a little bit, and he can also spam that homing missile as well. But until that happens, TC's going to be controlling this lane pretty hard. And, you know, he'll probably continue to control it, considering the fact that he's already sitting on 20 Necromastery stacks, which means that he's maxed out right now.
Yeah, he's doing really well, and I think that's going to be a huge victory for them because the bottom lane, you obviously would need far more so on an Alchemist than an Elder Titan, and that's kind of how it's going. It's a pretty even lane. You could see Elder Titan at 10 CS and Alchemist at 9, and then top lane Darkseer is doing amazing. So it's looking really good for the Dire team early on here. Of
Bottom
course,
jungle.
a couple of kills could turn that around in an instant. You see bottom jungle, it looks like Flying Zebra is going to try and hightail it out of here. Stun being charged by Universe. He's going to run and catch vision. No, he stuns himself. He's going to open up the opportunity for a dual breath. There's not enough mana for an ice bath, though. Here comes the auto touch from Supercell. Not using the Ancestral Spirit. Has it there to clean it up and gets a first blood kill on to Universe. And Universe, a huge mistake channeling the stun, but they had no guaranteed vision in this area. So once the line of sight was dodged by just hooking some trees, ended up stunning himself, and wow, set up that kill pretty much. TC in the river taking a whole lot of damage from Mason, but he's going to get to the haste rune before that rocket can connect. So well played by TC there. Level 1 rocket will connect eventually, but it's not too big of an idea.
Yeah, I mean, and that's going to be, I mean, you could see TC's just doing fine. Even with the homing missile spam, it's not going to be a real problem. He's actually going for level 2 homing missile, which is kind of surprising. You don't generally see that on a Gyrocopter, but it does give you that increase in stun duration as well as damage, so it's pretty nice to have.
Oh, Mason taking a whole lot of damage. He's going to go down in the middle lane. TC cleaning him up. And,
yeah, and
there's the Mason. I think out of the 4 games I've been in, Mason has called GG in 3 of them.
It's kind of been his thing. I don't know if we can get some stats on that, Infinity. Just make some stats about how many times Mason GGs, and
Mason
then
calls
I'm sure
GG 196% of the games he plays in.
Yes.
Where he's too sexy. It looks like this one gets canceled at the very
He
least.
actually calls GG in more games that he actually plays.
Oh,
Nice coming through.
here comes another one because he gets hit hard in the middle lane. He's going to go down again. And there it is.
That's another one.
There
You're
it is.
right. Boom.
It's like on cue.
Mike's-
And Mike not happy with it because he's having a fun time top lane, even though he kind of got bodied a little bit. He's still got 19 CS. It's respectable, I suppose. I think it's a mismatch hero-wise, so he got what he got.
Yep. And I'd say that stat's right on point. But, I mean, honestly, Mason's having a rough time mid, and that's not a big surprise. CC's controlling the lane. He's able to dish out a ton of damage. We already talked about the Shadow Raises early on, and Mason can't do a whole lot here. I don't know. I mean, I really don't know about this draft coming out from him and why he thought that Gyrocopter against a Shadow Fiend would be a good idea regardless. I think if it was an Alchemist, they'd be doing a little bit better because they have the Acid Spray and they could throw up the Unstable Concoction, but they might have needed it down in the bottom lane. Going back to that first blood or whatever it was on Universe, I think that he was just trying to help his team, and I guess he really said, let's fight, we can fight here as long as I hit this Unstable Concoction. The problem was he didn't hit it, and when you can't hit your Unstable Concoction and you get stunned yourself, that's gonna 9 times out of 10 lead you to die. So, you know, I understand what Universe was trying to go for, but at the same time, not the best time to do it.
Oh, here comes Mike on the top lane going ham on Way Too Sexy, but no track. He's not even going to bother to pursue, of course, with that sprint up.
Mid lane, Mason.
You see the ice pack come out, but Mason with a nice jukes this time, not going to walk into it. Damage from TC is huge, though, and Genocide Run gets obliterated. Acid Spray response from Universe as he comes in. The dual breath will hit him and slow him down, though. Mason and Universe going to get hit by a really nice ice path. They're trying to back it up now. Universe is going to pop off a salve. He's going to turn around and come back in. Mason using the Rocket Barrage to deal whatever damage he can to whomever he can. Bane's going to come in, though, with the Brain Sap and clean up that Gyrocopter for the 3rd time, I believe, this game. Yep, that's 3 deaths. The trifecta on Mason so far, and that ice path catching 2 of them was really nice. Almost an opportunity to re-engage, but TC was kind of low, didn't want to get too deep in But overall, really good performance still from the Dire team in general. Mason reacting a little bit better. He dodged. That is going to be statistically accurate.
We'll hold you to that, Frankie. That
It,
sounds about right.
it's
But
pretty inevitable.
yeah, I gotta say though, the Dire movement is so good in terms of their, of course, just leaving the Elder Titan down here. They don't necessarily need him. Mike's gonna go ahead and track up Duck Hunt. That's not a big deal. But yeah, the Dire supports are all over the map. You saw some huge ganks coming out from Duck Hunt just to grab a couple of kills. They played
Flying
aggressively. They
Zebra
were able
is
to do
in
so.
trouble.
Oh yeah,
He just got jumped on with an Astral Spirit, and Supercell's taking a whole lot of damage on this dive. He has 100 and change for his auto attack. There he goes, gets the kill, but he's tracked up in Ix Mike with a long range shuriken toss. Going to clean it up, and with the track gold, much better exchange from him. Mike is on the prowl. He gets his second kill of the game. Excuse me, I almost said first. Of course, he got that first kill in the middle. So good job by him to just be, present around the map. You'd expect another support to TP in, but no, he took control of that and was able to make the most out of an overzealous dive.
Yeah.
I don't know, to the people in chat, the one person or two people that think that my sound is emitting Mott now, I have no idea how that would happen. So I apologize.
I'm sure it's
I'm
fine.
using a headset, so I don't know how that would happen. I didn't change
sure
anything
it's
like that. Here's the telekinesis going to toss up Lampo. Lampo is tracked. Flying Zebra is still in pursuit, but he's not even level 6, so there's nothing. And here comes another Alchemist stun on himself. Universe tries to be cool and disjointed, but he just misses. 4 heroes here. They can see 3 of them because the Vayne's still tracked. So response is coming. Here comes the TP in from the gyrocopter. They'll have a cooldown available. The thing is, they're a little bit under-leveled in comparison. You can see Nagasiren's only level 4. There's still no level 6 on that Rubik, of course. Universe is charging up a stun yet again. This time they'll get Supercell for certain. Throws that off. It catches only Supercell. Here's the cooldown to follow up. It's going to deal a fair bit of damage. Mason's charging in now. Acid Spray is down. It's making the Dire reluctant to come in, but now TC, invisible, gets off a Requiem of Souls going on top of Mason, and Mason is down again. Infinity calling it in the chat simultaneously. Ultimate from Elder Titan is going to get a kill on Nagasiren. And now Bounty Hunter is cleaning up whomever he can. But Rubik is actually going to drop in the middle of that to Darks here. And Bounty Hunter is going to hightail it out of there. Some low health pools on some of these Dire heroes, but they do survive in the long run. Mike's still trying to find somebody to jump in here on. Look at this. Even as a semi-carry offlaner, he has to go the support item. He's trying to build that mech and keep his team alive on the Bounty Hunter.
I mean, Mike is trying to single-handedly,
Good guy, Mike.
Not only carry but also support this game. At this point in time, really they're going to rely on him for track kills, and they'll get one out of that, but at the same time, they knew they should probably not have fought into that. They realized that pretty much everyone was down there in the first place. Yes, they had the call down, but it only hit on one, and that was Supercell, who's already rather tanky. So the Radiant are trying to fight a little bit, really when they shouldn't. I mean, when you look at the Rubik, he's sitting on a magic stick, and that's it. So you look at the Dire, they've got so many other items. They're sitting with a huge lead in terms of experience at 5,000 at 10 minutes and 7,500 gold at 10 minutes into the game. That's pretty damn good. So the one way that I think that the Radiant are going to get back into this is Mike with those tracks. And if Mike can carry through, I think they'll be in a good position to maybe take the mid game to the late game. But it's going to be tough considering the fact that Universe didn't really get a whole lot of farm to begin with. So he's got to try to escalate, get some actual items. He's got his phase boots now, but, I mean, if you look at TC, he's got treads, he's got the starts of a BKB, and he's actually close to finishing it in about 1,200 gold, so.
Yeah, and that's going to be a really big item for him. Just being able to dodge the concoction and telekinesis and even fight through some of the sleeps could be crucial. Top lane, though, Way Too Sexy is getting set up on. Mike is still trying to be the hero that the Radiant need, and Way Too Sexy is dead. Alchemist going to clean him up. Actually, Bounty Hunter getting the kill, but track gold for 3 heroes. Yeah. So nice plays once again. 4-0, IX Mike. Can he do it? There's a triple smoke on the bottom lane, though. They're coming in on Mason, and it's just an off day for Mason right now. He's about to drop for the 5th time.
I mean, I feel bad for Mason because every single game that I cast that he's in, he generally has a rough game. And, he'll be close to winning a game, and then all of a sudden his team will throw, and it's not even his problem. It's not even, him that's throwing. It's just the fact that his team is doing something wrong. Sometimes he does misplay, as we've seen in the past few games, but Mason is getting a lot of flack right now that I don't think he deserves. I think that he's just having an off day, like you said. But up in the top lane with that kill coming out from IX Mike, That's exactly what they need to do, but on a larger scale. They need to be able to get 2 or 3 pickoffs with that track up, but it's going to be hard considering the fact that they've got a, I guess, team fight here, and we'll actually see one right now.
Here we go. Middle lane, Ice Mike gets obliterated.
Yep.
Oh, they were tired of his antics and his clean slate, too. I mean, he is having a monster of a game, so they just fully manned on him and are going to clean him up rather easily. Mason's coming in from the side. Rocket's going to connect on TC. A nice call down is going to take TC really low, but the follow-up is so late. There's nothing right now. And, of course, Nagasarn being level 5 is a big factor. There's a vacuum in and kills Mason for the 6th time. Flying Zebra is going to try and get out of here. But in the middle of a fight, Genocide Run gets his level 6, pops off the song, and everyone's going to try and retreat. But Flying Zebra is going to just Rambo in and trade himself for the SF. I guess that's a worthwhile trade. It definitely is, actually. And now Genocide Run gets caught by a Nightmare. He's going to end up dying here in a moment. There's a stun being charged by Universe. He gets it off in time before it hits himself, but he's going to have to back it off as he doesn't have anyone in the area to support.
Yeah, I think that may be as good as it gets for the Radiant with a couple of those fights. I mean, they got TC, which is kind of a big pickup. They're still just dropping in terms of experience and gold despite getting track kills. It's rough. I mean, you could see just because of the levels, you know, the fact that they have Macro Pyre, the fact that they have Wall of Replica up on that Darkseer, and it's a level 2 wall, by the way, as of right now. They do too much damage, and yeah, it's just they can't really fight into stuff like this. I mean, because once your call down is done, what do you do after that? You've got Rocket Barrage, but it's only level 2. You've got Flat Cannon, it's only level 2. Not that he has any damage to begin with. Naga Siren Song's in. What are they going to follow up with that? They've got Mike who can throw shuriken tosses and hit people every few seconds. And then
we got an ultimate out to Flying Zebra on the high ground from Lampo. He's going to try and get this kill. Interruption comes out as Mike throws out the shuriken, but not going to save his teammate in time. Here's the Ice Path going to catch Ix Mike. They drop down the sentry. They use the dust. They have so much detection. They're ready for this bounty hunter, but he is too fast. He's going to go ahead and make it out of here. Ultimate from the Elder Titan is nowhere near the mark. That is wide left, if I've ever seen wide left in my life. And he's going to pick up a rune on the way. So Mike gets a regen rune. Pretty lucky spawn and lucky pickup, and he'll survive. So a Fiend script to kill off a Rubik. It's whatever. It is what it is, and it worked. But, you know, it's not exactly the gank that we're looking for. It's good for the Radiant that Mike still survives, and they're going to rotate towards this top line, maybe go for a kill on Way Too Sexy once again. His farm is looking pretty good. Let's go over to net worth and see where everyone stands. He's in second at 6,300. First place is going to be TC on that SF with about 7,300 gold. So we mentioned the fact he has that BKB up. Really solid start. We'll see if he goes for a damage item next to just try and build on that.
Yeah, and he will. I mean, he'll just snowball out of control with that BKB. I mean, because now all the damage is gone. The Radiant were relying on call down. They were relying on, I guess, unstable concoction. With that gone, there's no right click whatsoever. They're not going to kill TC in a team fight, despite the fact that he's a Shadow Fiend and he's only got like what 1,200 health. So at this point, it's going to be very tough. They need to get some farm on their carries for the Radiant. Mike is trying to do that with track. He's got his mech done. He's had that done for at least a little while. And Mike with tracks can set up some nice kills and ganks, but they are getting some decent farm on the Alchemist now, who does have a Claymore, although he is behind by quite a bit in terms of net worth. There goes the Aegis on TC. Not a big surprise there that he'll pick that up. But it's 15 minutes in the game, and if TC continues to keep getting farm, keep getting kills, it's going to be a tough road to climb for the Radiant.
Yeah, that is definitely true. We mentioned the fact that both teams pretty well equipped with good team fights towards the mid-game stages if they do make it there, and certainly a high-leveled SF can roll through some of these heroes. You can see level 6 on Slithis as well as level 6 on Rubik, so they can definitely take down 2 heroes in one level 16 ultimate if Shadow Fiend gets there and is able to get it off, whether he's slept or not, because with the BKB up, it won't really matter. He can be a one-man army at that point, but he needs to get to level 16 first. We'll see if the Radiant apply any additional pressure. Mike sitting on that completed top lane. Universe is in a little bit of trouble. Way Too Sexy's in pursuit, uses the surge. It's going to try and hunt down the Alchemist right here in the top jungle. Alchemist still pretty fast, has his phase boots as well. He's going to juke around the trees and be safe for now. So, Way Too Sexy getting juked a little bit there.
Yeah.
And TP home from Universe.
Yeah, those are the phase boots coming in handy right now, and Universe knew he had to juke out of there, or else he was going to get vacuumed. But now we actually see a push coming down mid right now, and this is exactly what they need to do. There's no other, I mean, other option for
Oh,
the Radiant other to defend this. But there's a lot of tracks coming out from Mike here, but we'll see if there's any initiation soon.
yeah, it's going to be on the back of Nagasiren to initiate, really. The song is the only way they can go in. And even with the song initiate, it's going to be hard to focus down the SF because he will have an instant to turn on his BKB unless the telekinesis is spot on. Like, it has to be simultaneous with the sleep off, which is a little bit difficult to execute depending on how the fight pans out. Tower's going to go down.
Difficult.
They're going to let the tier 2 drop, so there will not be a team fight here. It's probably the better idea because the Aegis is in play right now. You don't want to fight TC twice. Just try and burn some time, get some additional farm, and then go all in at that point.
Yeah, and I like the Dire picking up that tower and backing off right now. They don't need to force anything just yet, but
Mason
Mason's
gets caught.
Way out of position.
This could be his 7th death of the game. Macropyre just to make sure, and there it is. Shadow Fiend actually taking that kill with a raise after all the hard work that Bane puts in. But nonetheless, 7 deaths for Mason, and it is not his game. It's perhaps not his week or month. Who knows?
Mason Sentai Playhouse is not coming into. They're not doing very well. They're not playing. It's not much of a playhouse in this scenario. But yeah, and I'm gonna flame him a little bit here. I mean, they knew that tier 2 tower had just gone down. Yet he comes up to the high ground and around the corner anyways. So I don't know what he was expecting there, but I don't know. I would have done the same maneuver, I think.
Yep. We do see Elder Titan building towards a BKB. There's a sleep on the back end. It's going to catch off Flying Zebra, and here's the ultimate from Nagasiren just to keep the Rubik safe. I don't know if that was worth that ultimate.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. That Rubik probably
man.
Yeah,
that is a tough call. That's a 3-minute cooldown, and Rubik will be up well before 3 minutes. Genocide Run, you asked for a shout out last game. It's like an anti-shout out right now. I think that's a tough decision.
Yeah, that's. I don't know if that was the smartest decision in the world. He's only level 6 right now, so it's not even as like level 2 song. He's only got level 1 song. But luckily for them, they're all backing off. They may potentially go mid here. Mason is doing some secret agent jungling right now, and somehow Lampo knows exactly where he is. So he's going to go ahead and nightmare him.
Here's Mason getting nightmared, like you just said. Fiend script follow-up, and it's almost too easy. Nowhere is safe for Mason right now. Wherever he goes, they're coming. The one thing we do know is that he hasn't been close to teammates for the majority of the game. He's been on his own, and it's definitely making him more susceptible to some of these ganks, to say the very least. And I'm not sure the Radiant can compensate in the long run for a gyrocopter that has absolutely nothing. Still working towards, well, now working towards an Aquila, and that's not going to do very much for him, especially 20 minutes in the game. Its armor is barely going to counteract presence of the Dark Lord. Nope, it's just going to be taken away, so it'll be a little bit of something, but in the long run, absolutely nothing. Way Too Sexy is going to dive on the bottom lane. Flying Zebra is going to get hit from the back end. TC gets telekinesized and thrown backwards. There's an ensnare coming on TC to keep him in place for a moment. Mason TPing in Universe there. On the back end, we do see Darkseer take down that Rubik. The call down is spot on. It catches 2. Is there any follow-up damage to take down Way Too? He's just barely surviving. The track is up on him. Mason charging in, but everyone dies. And now Genocide Run going to try and kill off TC, but the long-range raise almost kills him in exchange. And this game is not far from being over.
Yeah, that's pretty much it right there. I mean, they were fighting around the tier 2 tower. I think they wanted to get a pick off, the Radiant did, and then they realized that everyone else was there for the die. We're like, well, shit, I don't know what we do now, guys. I guess we just try to get out and die. But it was rough. TC not even using his BKB because he's got that Aegis going. Some nice raises, some nice damage coming out as well. I think he's going to waste this Aegis in here in a second. Universe is going to throw that Unstable Concoction. That'll get the kill for him.
Lampo with a blink comes into the base, and there's a Fiend Script on Universe. Lampo going a little bit Rambo there. It wasn't going to work out, but you do see how much damage TC is doing. He is 3-shotting people. IX Mike's going to get away just because invis, and detection is way too expensive with this economy. They're going to dive into the well, and Way Too Sexy is going to die. His 3rd death of the game. He's 3 out of 7 deaths for this dire team, but it doesn't matter all too much in the long run, as everyone else having a tremendous game. I mean, TC really the standout player in this one in particular. His Shadow Fiend is just going way too ham for anyone to deal with. Mike's going to retreat to the well and survive. Just barely. Universe never really got his farm going. Bottom tri-lane didn't go as well as he wanted to. That first death was inopportune. I never got the chance to say it probably wasn't Universe's fault. Probably one of the supports had to sacrifice a little bit of HP to keep vision on that first instance so he can get this done off. And it didn't happen. TC's going to drop here for realsies, but he still takes down Mike with him. Sleep's going to set up 2 potential kills. No, it's a short duration sleep. It's only level 1. So there's no kill off the back end of it, but still blink on Lampo. He can get the pure damage off on Zebra in a moment, but he decides not to. We'll back up.
So that was, I mean, the first time I think they killed TC. No, he's actually got 2 deaths, which is a little. Oh yeah, he had that one mid, but yeah, I mean, for the most part, TC has been, I think, the biggest factor for the Dire in terms of just being able to get kills, because he had a really easy time mid up against Mason. He was able to take him down a couple of times with some help from Duck Hunt. Not to mention, I mean, not to say that, you know, the supports aren't doing nearly as much on the Dire side. They really are. I mean, there's been plenty of great ice paths. Lampo's been in really great position to get a lot of Fiend's grips off. And on top of that, you've got Supercell with that Earth Splitter as well. But it's just been really easy for TC to say, hey, I'm going to just right-click people and race people and kill everybody, and that's going to be it. So pretty standard game for the Dire right now. Radiant, they're... I don't want to say it's GGA because I don't like saying that, but it's pretty much GG.
Oh, Duck Hunt setting it up on IX Mike right now. Macropyre for the big deeps. And Lampo comes in with a Fiend's Grip. He's dead. Song, once again, a little bit questionable, a little bit late. But it might set up a couple of kills here. There's follow-up coming in. And, that concoction catches 2. Vacuum is really nice from Way 2, though. Brings all 3 in and sets up the ultimate slam from the Elder Titan. And now they're going to just pursue onto Mike. Mike is going to drop as well. 3 heroes dead for the Radiant team. Buyback from Mason. I don't know what he's doing, but a Requiem will one-shot him. That level advantage.
Yeah, I mean, that was beautiful. The Vacuum, of course, and the Earth Splitter. I think that's a combination that I want to see a lot more of. And I don't know about you, but it just is like, it's sexy every time it happens. I'm like, yep, that's going to be some dead people right there. So it's always nice to see some decent, you know, coordinating team fight abilities. And on top of that, if you had like an Ice Path, like a Vacuum Wall, Ice Path, Macropyre, Requiem of Souls, Earth Splitter combo, that's probably as good as it gets. But maybe one day we'll see one of those.
Are you seeing this damage?
I
it's
am.
ridiculous.
It's kind of, he's got 36 souls right now. He's got a Chrysalis. He's got an SNY. This guy's going to town. So
it's not fair. Rubik shouldn't lead the well. I mean, he's just getting 2-shotted without crits. Now Mason is going to get...
All right. Now it's tactical feeding at this point. I'm throwing it out there. They're giving the viewers at least a lot of items, which is great. So
it's very considerate of them.
Yeah.
I'm sure
really
that's
is.
their intention.
It is. It's got to be. I mean,
they're trying to give themselves items, more likely.
Well, I guess so. I mean, IXMike's probably still on the stream right now. Let's go ahead and check it out. We're going to look and see who on the Radiant side's in the stream real quick.
Oh, here's
wow, IX might close it, I think. Nope, he's still in here, just kidding.
Oh, what a player. Earth Split Vacuum doesn't quite work when they're in the well, but it was close to working.
Yeah, well, I mean, it can't work every time. It can work almost every time. Oh my god.
Yeah, this is definitely a tactical feat at this point.
Yep.
I like
They're not even going for like the tier 4s, they just want to dive the well.
It's legit. Give the fans what they're here to receive.
Uh-oh. Whose rapier is that? Excellent, Darkseer rapier. Congratulations, fans.
Way too sexy. Sells out to get you guys a rapier. Those Darkseer punches.
Are you calling way too sexy a sellout? Is that what you just said?
I guess if you decide to take it out of context, I did say way too sexy sells out.
Okay. That's fine. I understand completely. Duck Hunt. Oh, buddy. Finally you go down. I think it was worth it to them. Mason, dear lord.
I don't even... Wow, that ice path.
That was pretty good. Is there going to be an ultra kill? Triple kill? Yep.
There we go. Triple kill for TC. Some TC
Congrats.
items going to make it out into circulation.
Congrats, Schadenfreude. See, there they go. They're giving people so many. Yeah, look at all of those items they just got within
Help!
the
I'm a
past
league
like
player.
minute. Somebody had to get something good. Wow.
Wow.
Not quite the quick GG we saw in the first game, but it was along the same lines, wouldn't you say, Mike? Yes?
Who's Mike?
Why did I say Mike? I read chat. John, sorry. God, I'm so sorry. I'm tired, everybody.
I don't even know if it was offensive. I don't know if you
I
have to
didn't
be
mean it
so.
to be
You don't
offensive,
have to
so
be
if you took
so
it
sorry.
offensively.
No, but I was just confused who Mike was. Is there
All
a
right,
third
well,
person in our call?
no.
Next level ghosting. He's in the Skype call. That would be. That
We're
would
going to
be.
cut that from the highlight. That's it. That's done. Guys, make sure you check us out on twitter.com/NeoDota2. If you enjoyed our cast, you can follow me at twitter.com/MockDota2 and John at twitter.com/NYJohnTV. And we're going to have another game in like 5 seconds, I think.